Yo, this is Muhsin Cason, aka the Muslim Boxer, and you watching the Third Party Podcast, Season 2, Episode 1.
Yo, what's up? This Tone Barr sitting here with the Third Party Podcast.
And also we have the AKA Darkness. What's happening, my brother? We back.
You, DeVeaux, man. Listen, Third Party Podcast, Season 2. We back. Yeah, I mean, we got nice new background going on.
Man, this ambiance is crazy.
It's ambiance, right?
Yeah,
Hey, listen, man. So look, we took a break, try to come back better than we were.
Big and better, alhamdulillah.
Big and better, man. All right. Let's get into him.
Who
What
is
about
this,
you?
brother?
Hey, listen, man. So look, man, Charles Tone Barr. He's a father, a leader, philanthropist, community change maker,
And a
influencer,
And the Jesus slipper wear.
Listen, I'm
activist,
I'm on my fun way type today, bro.
entrepreneur, Muslim, stand-up dude. I went to high school with this dude, man. Philly native. He's dedicated to uplifting, to provide hope and strategic impact to the Philadelphia community.
Love it.
Hey, man, it's great to have you on the show, man. Thanks for coming, man.
Appreciate you.
Definitely.
And when I said A1 from day one, I really meant that, bro. You know?
Listen, we went to University City High School. It's so crazy it ain't even around no more.
How was your Ramadan?
Alhamdulillah.
It was good?
It was good, yeah.
Is Ramadan hard for you?
I mean, not really.
You don't have to say it. You can let the Haram police judge you.
No.
Was Ramadan tough for you? It was tough for me.
Yeah.
It was tough for me. I think this Ramadan was one of my toughest ones. What about you?
Ramadan was good for me.
Let me give praise to y'all because the fact that y'all grew went to high school together and now y'all both real good figures in the community. Shout out to y'all.
Something in the water, man.
Yeah, Allah knows best. You know what I mean? Allah put us right there.
No. There's nothing in the Philly water. There's nothing in the Philly water. But shout out to y'all.
No, for sure. Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, man, so let's get into it with you, man. So, from Philly, what part of Philly, man?
Southwest Philadelphia.
Southwest Philly.
Southwest Stepper.
Southwest Stepper.
Stepper.
What part of Philly is that? You know, I'm new.
That's
So we on the south side of Market, south side of Chestnut, south side of everything. We over there on the south side.
yeah. So south of Market. So, but some people will be like, it pick up like Baltimore Ave sometimes.
So
you know what I mean?
it's tricky. I always rep Baltimore Avenue.
Right.
So everybody, man, Baltimore Avenue is West Philly. No, it's really not.
It's really not.
It's really Southwest Philly. But then we moved deeper into Southwest. So we moved to Elmwood Avenue. That's definitely Southwest.
Is that hood? Is that gentrified now? Is that what's the city like now?
So it's slowly but surely is getting gentrified.
Okay.
But still Southwest is Southwest.
What type of neighborhood did you grow up in?
Trenches.
Yeah,
trenches.
trenches.
Yeah,
Trenches.
Yeah, trenches.
So
bro.
so what's the trenches? Like, how you define that?
Poverty, drugs, crime, no resources, single families, school system felonies, nothing, no opportunities out there. Like I said, parents on welfare, people having no money at all, kids doing whatever they want to do, no role models. Southwest was a rough stop at one point in time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you're familiar with like JBM and all that kind of stuff.
What was your family dynamic like?
Like, what are you experiencing?
Yeah, what did you
Everything I just said.
Yeah.
That was my family.
That was
Oh
your
wow!
family?
That was it.
Nobody graduated college in my family.
Right.
Nobody graduated. Matter of fact, forget college. Nobody graduated high school. I was probably like the first person that graduated high school out of my family. Broken down family. We was poor, man. And when I be telling like my kids, like, you know, like how we grew up.
They got it good.
Yeah, because they so entitled. You know what I mean? And they don't really be understanding, like, yo, damn, like, it was 13 of us in one house. You know what I mean? All sharing a pizza, bro. Like, I get up super early in the morning, and then, like, all day I'm ripping and running. I leave the house at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm not done until 8 o'clock every day.
Like, this is what you got to do, especially when you have kids.
Right, but you know what's the crazy thing? I feel as though real men should get up early.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like real men should get up early and start their day.
You have to.
You know what I mean? And we got to get up obviously because we got to pray.
Right.
But I don't think no grown man should be laying in the bed till you know what I mean, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? Unless you work overnight.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you're a productive man,
You getting up.
you got to get up early.
And you probably only getting like 5 hours of sleep.
Right. It's not a lot of sleep.
Ain't a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
They got the saying, what's his early to
breakfast.
bed, early to rise makes a man healthy and wise.
No,
You know
for
what I mean?
sure.
So
Yeah, and you got to be productive. It's like you just think about your day and all the stuff that you do throughout the day. The day go by just like that. Like seriously, the days go by like that. The weeks go by like
Years
that.
go by just
Next
like
thing you know, like it's funny because I always tell my people's like, let's just say if it's March the 2nd, I'm like, then the month over.
right.
You know what I mean? Like
Really?
literally, like because the days just go be shooting past. You know what I mean? And we ain't getting no younger, so
Yeah.
like, you know, the days just be shooting
I was
past.
just 18.
Right.
I'm 30.
So in this environment that you're growing up in, right? I've said this before. For us, it's like normal. You know what I mean? We don't until we get away from it and we able to kind of step back. You know, it's like it's a big deal.
Right.
It's a big deal for you to be where you at right now, facing all that adversity. Like, what are some of the things that kind of some of the challenges? What's some of the things that kind of stand out?
Not having no money. You know what I mean? Like it was messed up, bro. You know what I mean? Like not having no money, sometimes not even having no food, bro. Like I remember waiting for my uncle to come home. We all sitting around the dinner table waiting for him to come home from Wendy's so we can eat. And they was like throw away the like whatever they throw away for the day. That was our dinner for the night.
SubhanAllah.
You know what I mean? So just growing up, just hungry. But that made us though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just seeing a different level of toughness
Right.
because we wasn't broken so easily. Now you look at it, man. People like they get broken by the easiest things. And then when some adversity come around, they hide their coattail. Like back then, you went through so much stuff, but you had like people to depend on. Right now, like you go through things, man. You try to reach out to people, nobody there. They only concerned about themselves. But yeah, just not having no paper.
I remember back in the day, man. You would borrow sugar from your neighbor.
Yeah,
Stuff
yeah.
like you get a
But
cup of rice or a
right.
cup of.
I remember going to the store with notes. Me and my cousin. Like, all right, take this note to the corner store. Give us a long laundry list of food that we had, and the guy will let us go for the next week until our grandma had her check and stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or being so poor that we didn't have no hot water for the whole winter. We had to heat our hot water up on a kerosene heater, not a stove, a kerosene heater.
Kerosene heater.
Yeah, so that same water that, like the same kerosene heater that we would heat our food up on, take that same pot, wash it out, and we had to put put water on that and wash up with that joint. Like we had a rough stop back in the day. You know what I mean?
I remember reading about poverty, right, and it was breaking down at different levels, and it was like, okay, this is what extreme poverty is.
Right.
It's when you don't have this and you don't have that and
Right.
you don't have, and you know, you don't have food security. You don't have all these things. And I was like, wow, that's how everybody where I'm from was, you know, so.
I was just about to say, do y'all, I've heard your story and I'm hearing yours. Do y'all feel like y'all knew that y'all were poor, or was it just
You know what?
regular old day?
I feel as though we knew we ain't had no money, but everybody around us was the same way.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
Normal.
Right. It felt normal.
It was-
Right.
Everybody was in the same boat
Right.
for the most part, you know. Like my mom wasn't the only one on food stamps. Like,
Right,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? Like,
Exactly.
Everybody was on food
You know,
stamps.
it's crazy because we knew that our neighbors or our homies' moms were on food stamps, but as soon as you found out somebody was on food stamps, you talk so much trash.
yo, everybody act like they wasn't though. It was so crazy.
No, it's funny.
Everybody was on food stamps,
Right.
but
as soon as I found out that you was on food stamps,
You was
I
getting
bust
cracked
on you all day long. You know
all
what I mean?
day,
So- crack
man.
doors.
You said, it was the worst. You had to go to the
Right.
store.
Exactly.
Listen, that joint was the
With the little
worst.
checks.
The paper
Yeah,
notes.
and the paper notes.
Yeah. You were Muslim in high school, so at
Right.
some point you become Muslim.
Right.
Like how did that come about?
So I took Shahada early. I took Shahada when I was like in 10th grade, one of my tutors, she was a Muslim woman, and she was tutoring me because I was in all these academically enriched programs as a kid. And going to University City High School, I always dumbed down my situation, never wanted to let nobody how smart I was. So out of everybody, you remember how we used to walk the halls and just do whatever, just bull crapping around. I had a tutor because I was in all these academically enriched programs, and she was preparing me for the SAT. So I just loved how graceful she was, how intelligent she was, how she spoke. She was like a woman. Yeah. And I used to always ask her questions about religion. And I was always inquisitive about religion, you know what I mean, whether it be Christianity or Islam. But Islam worked for me. So I asked her one day, like, how do I become Muslim? And she gave me a few pointers. And then I went to one of my best friend's house, and I heard him call her a dime one day. I ran home to my mom. Zay was in the house singing. You know what I mean? So I ran back to his house. I'm like, bro, what was that you was in the kitchen doing? He's like, I was called a prayer. I'm like, man, I want to be Muslim. Just from that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and I took Shahada before all my friends. You know what I mean? Like, Zay he just moved from New York. His whole family was Muslim. His father had 2 wives at the time. That whole polygamy thing, and that wasn't even a thing, you know what I mean? Well, it was a thing, but nobody really knew nothing too much about it.
Not like now.
Yeah, not like it is right now, but this was like 93, 94. Just seeing how they lived peacefully in a house with 2 wives and how beautiful it was, and they was praying and all that kind of stuff. Like, it intrigued me, so I took Shahada, and I just never looked back from that. I remember I was like walking around with a Kufi, and nobody like, I'm wearing a Kufi.
I was scared to wear a Kufi.
No, listen, wearing a Kufi in Philly back then meant something. It meant something, bro. Like, you can go anywhere in the city and nobody would mess with you.
I was terrified. I had a peanut head.
No, listen.
I still have a peanut head.
The culture, that's another thing I think people don't really understand about Philly. Is the culture, like how pervasive Islam is in the culture of the city and what it means. I don't think people really understand it if you're not from here.
Right. One thing I've seen about Philadelphia is like, y'all enjoy, like, people get really proud to be Muslim. Like, when I was a kid, it was like kind of like molded in, but it was kind of like, nah, you know, I'm not eating pork because I'm healthy. Right. Or I don't drink pork. I don't drink because I'm an athlete. But it wasn't because, like, nah, I'm Muslim. But Philly has always been, yo, I'm Muslim. I'm on the deen. I'm this, I'm that, and that. I've always, you know, admired y'all about that.
No, I think, like, I remember Islam took a skyrocket in maybe like 96, 97. You look around, everybody was taking Shahada. Yeah. And it, like, especially like our age in high school, man, everybody was Muslim. You know what I mean? And like I said, like, it was a time that you wouldn't see me without a Kufi. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Like, that was the thing. Like, whatever outfit I had on, I had a Kufi on with it.
That color Kufi on.
Exactly. So, like, it was like a badge of honor that we wore. Right. You know what I mean? Now, so more so, man, it's the young boys walking around with these prostration marks. And
how you just become Muslim and got a prostration mark?
Well, they rub their head against the ground. I hate to say it, you know what I mean? They rub their head against the ground, and you know, it's sad, man, because you know they got this big prostration mark in their head, and you tell them, all right, recite the Fatiha. Matter of fact, you don't even tell them to recite the Fatiha. Tell them to say the Shahada.
And they say, what is that?
Yeah, and they looking at you like you crazy.
How do you feel about? And I'm gonna get back to the other question. How do you feel? How do you feel about the quality versus the quantity? Because everybody and their mama Muslim, and everybody knows somebody that's Muslim.
Right. So
you've seen it in Philadelphia. You both of y'all.
So I feel as though the product of Islam has to be better in Philly. Like, we got to put a better product out because you got a lot of Muslim brothers. You got a lot of Muslimas. You walk around, they got attitudes. You know what I mean? Like, this is the only city I know that you get somebody salams, 2 seconds later they be plotting and trying to rob you, and they don't care who you with. So I think the product that we putting out is bad. And somebody always watching to be like, see, I told you the Muslims wasn't no good. Or I see, look at them, they fake. You know what I mean? So I feel like that, like, the product that we put out is kind of bad right now. But you know, Allah knows best, and hopefully it'll change, inshallah.
I mean,
we'll kind of get back to that.
Yeah, we definitely get back.
Back to the. We want to go through your story, man.
Right, back to the childhood.
I think the thing, and this is something that we was talking about, right? Mm-hmm. The great thing about your story is the contrast, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So we talked about, you're in high school, you're Muslim, mm-hmm. and you graduate, right? And you're trying to figure out what's going to happen, right? Because we from the same type place,
right.
And it's like you like, man, like I gotta do something because like you said, when you don't have money, you trying to get it,
right? And
trying to get money sometimes leads you down different roads, making different decisions. Talk about that part of the journey. That when people see you, you feeding the poor, you helping old ladies cross the street, you know what I mean? You kissing babies, you know what I mean? Like talk about some of those trying to figure things out.
So I got kicked out the house and right after graduation. I moved with one of my friends from high school who was already like knee deep in the game. We the same age, but we lived two different lives.
All right, but what's the game?
What's knee deep in the game?
What's the game?
Drug game.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm just saying because people I think it's power in saying that though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So specifically, and you can refer to it as the game, but I just want to clarify.
Right. Like I said, I got kicked out of my mom's crib, 17, 18, just trying to figure life out. And my friend was already knee deep in the game. Like I told Kurt, he know my friend very well.
I know
you know what I mean?
I know him.
So like it was crazy because I was telling him this story. I'm going to work, and he chopping up bricks, and he
in the morning.
18 years old. Every day, like he laughing at me. You gotta be working 4.5. You gotta be to work at 4 o'clock. I'm going to block for 4.5. Like that was his thing. Like just teasing me. You know what I mean? But that wasn't my lane right then.
Right.
You know what I mean? My lane was like, all right, I'm gonna go to work,
hustle.
I'm gonna try to go to college, try to figure this whole like thing out, because that's what they tell you. All right, go to work, go to college, and you do that. I hate to say it, that ain't work for me. You know what I mean? So I was going back and forth to college. I was going to work. You know what I mean? And just things wasn't adding up. So then sooner or later I had to figure it out. So I figured it out my way. Like, all right, well, if I ain't got no money, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna make my way to get some money. So I knew everybody that was into the game,
right?
You know what I mean? Because everybody was around me hustling at the time. I was playing basketball, but I knew who the players was. So I was like, all right, you know what? We jump in this joint. Jumped in the game. I had a shoe. I used to keep like a little shoebox full of bread. I probably had about, I don't know, maybe like $300 I used to play around with, just playing around with. And then jumped in the game, and I had like a month. I had like 20 grand, bro. I counted the dub easily.
That feel like?
Man, I thought I made it.
Right.
I thought I hit 20 million.
To 20K. That's a lot of money for what? A 19-year-old? 18, 19-year-old?
I was like 21. Yeah.
That's still a lot of money.
I was like 21.
I mean, but you think about that, right? That $300, that don't like people not having access to that. You know what I mean? Like that could have been, I'm thinking like that's more money than a lot of people in your family ever had.
What, 300?
I mean, yeah, then you talk about 20 to go to 20 grand, like
20 grand.
Yeah, like bro, and I had 20 grand in front of me, but I still had money coming in from different sources. So it wasn't like I just had that 20 grand. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna kick my feet, I'm gonna relax. Like I had 20 grand and I still had money coming in from different sources. So I made that first 20. And the first thing I did, I went and I was like, all right, let's show everybody I got money, because everybody so used to me not having money. So I'm like, I went and bought a car. I bought a Lexus. And that was a life lesson, because I'm driving in a block. I'm turning the music up as loud as I can. Look at me now. I'm a boss. Make me else joy. I've been driving through the neighborhood, so everybody looking at me. And the only thing I did, it put a big ass X on my back, bro. You know what I mean? So now I got to deal with cops, stick up boys, family members that think I got more money than what I got, because that's like I said, when I said about the product, that's the product I'm putting out in front of them. So all these life lessons I dealt with, and I had to go through that, because I'm not motivated by money right now, because I blew a bag, bro. Like I hate to say it, I fucked $1 million. I mean not cuss. I messed $1 million up probably twice, bro.
Right.
Just off of bad investments.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just spending money frivolously.
I mean, isn't that what makes you today?
For sure.
Isn't that what makes millionaires millionaires?
Mm-hmm.
Messing up, screwing over, doing what they. Shoot, I made a tiny bag last year, and I was like, "Yo, I'm never doing that again."
Right.
And it was nothing in the realm of of doing anything. It's just the way you spend it,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that it's never going to end.
Right. And
I mean, managing money is a different skill than getting money.
That's what I wasn't managing money right, bro. Because you start thinking about you getting all this money that's coming in every day. And you living different. Then you eating different. You wearing different clothes. Now you entertaining different things that you never entertained before, just so you can try to keep up with. Say, yo, I got some money. You know what I mean? So everything that I was doing every day for bread, man, that shit was going out the window, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Literally, like eating at these restaurants. And
He's literally going out the window. Like,
no,
Are you doing all of this in college? Or are you doing this after college or after? Right. Is there a period between college and high school?
this was all while I was in college, bro.
That's dope.
Yeah, this all while I was in college, bro.
he said it.
I'm not gonna lie, that's still dope because most people will say either one or the other.
I mean, if you getting 20 grand,
Getting 20
it's
grand.
like,
Who usually stays in college
Right.
with having 20 grand in their pocket?
Yeah, but see, I always had this mindset. I'm like, all right, I had a goal. I was going to stop, but it's hard to stop when you making a certain kind of money every day. You know what I mean? Like at my height, I probably was making like $3,500 a day, and some people probably like, they ain't no money, but like, yo, really, $3,500 a day.
living in
Back then in
Like,
97.
No, this wasn't 97. This was probably like 2002.
Okay,
2003.
even 2002.
You know what
That's
I mean?
a
Like,
lot of money for a week.
Listen,
Yeah.
I take 3,500 a day to day, bro. You know what I mean?
A
Like,
lot of a week too.
Yeah, and then so it was just a different time then. It was a lot more money around.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't, the drug game is so washed up, you know what I mean, hot right now. But back then, like because I was selling a drug that nobody was really selling back then. You know what I mean? Like I was like everybody was selling like weed or crack and all that kind of stuff. I jumped right in the game. I skipped weed, I skipped crack, I skipped coke. I went right to heroin. You know what I mean? So like
Right there.
I went right to heroin, and, you know what I mean? And that's a different kind of money.
right.
You know what I mean? And like I used to say that this was my tape, but this reminded me of how my setup would be every day.
Well, I had no flashbacks, bro.
He over here.
He like,
But
chopping
listen to how things where I would count my money, I would line it up, do.
uh-huh.
My wife would come out and crack jokes to me. Oh, you think you Rick Ross today? You a boss? Like she would humble me so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So all the money that I had, it would make me feel this small because she would like
Yeah.
humble me. You know what I mean? But like I said, I learned a lot of life lessons. You know what I mean throughout the drug game and
Right.
going to prison. That was another life lesson that I had to go through.
How much time did you have to spend in prison?
I only had to do a year.
Okay.
But that was enough time for me to find myself, and it surrounded me by some good men
Right.
that just cultivated me. Because, like I said, I was always in like these academically enriched programs. I was a natural nerd by trade, but I always hid that. You know what I mean? I was telling somebody before on a podcast I did. Out of high school, coming out of University City, which was the inner city's high school, I scored a 1480 on my SAT, which was and the highest score you can get was a 1600. Nobody never knew that, besides my parents,
I
because
didn't know it.
the
I
people-
graduated with him. I
Listen,
didn't know
Couldn't
it.
tell nobody that.
I had a full ride to go to University of Penn.
Right.
Academically, not
Right.
from playing basketball, not from doing
Academically.
Academically, I had a full ride to go to University of Penn, which I squandered because I didn't have the parents to be like, "Yo, go ahead and take this, you know what I mean, serious and do X, Y, and Z." I think they wanted me to write an essay that was more than what I wanted to do, and I was like, you know what I mean, and it just. I squandered a full ride to University of Penn, bro.
Man, it's crazy because I have a similar. I didn't score a 1480, and I didn't have a full ride, but I did get accepted to, like, basically almost all the colleges I applied to,
What?
and I got accepted. But when it came, like, I didn't have the support at home though. So when you start talking about FAFSA forms and you know, our parents they ain't never filed
Right.
taxes,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
did all of that stuff. So it's like, how am I get this aid? Then I'm like, man, like, how am I even get down there?
I was not a school guy.
You know, so
Yeah.
when you just kind of like those kind of things happen to, because I had the same experience, right? at every level. I was always in some extra academic enrichment, whether it was, they used to have this thing called MG. It was mentally gifted.
I remember that.
Remember MG? Yeah,
I remember that.
They used to have all these different programs, and I was always in them. And people always say stuff like, oh, you smart, you're going to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer. But nobody ever really lay out the steps to how they make that happen. And then if you don't have that kind of support at home, you see what I'm saying? Like you said, you got kicked out when you was 18.
Right.
My mom didn't kick me out, but I felt the pressure. I was like, yo, I got to get out of here. Like we in a hood, like a small crib, all of us in here. So it's, just, that's what I was saying. Like, it's power in the story, because that kind of stuff resonate like with so many people. And it's not like people, it's not like there aren't poor people still out there, or people that, kids that are smart but don't have support at home, or don't, like a FAFSA. That was the difference really between me going to school and not. Parents, they don't know how to fill out that stuff. It's intimidating.
No. It's crazy, Kurt, because I had 2 college degrees, and I'm talking about I got a college degree in chemistry, and I got a college degree in funeral service. My best education was when I was in prison.
What?
Yeah, like my best education when I was in prison, because I was learning how to be a man. You know what I mean? Forget everything that they teach you, you know what I mean? Because half the stuff you learn in high school and college, you don't even use it anyway.
Right.
But to actually, just for another older gentleman to sit me down and say, you know what, I'm going to teach you how to be a man. I'm going to teach you how to be an entrepreneur. So when you get back out there, you ain't going to never come back in here again. He was like, you out there ripping and running, you know what I mean, doing all this stuff, you can own your own funeral home. And I'm like, what? No, I can't. He's like, you ran your own drug business, right? I'm like, yeah, I could. Same old rules that apply in the drug business apply that to the funeral home. I'm like, damn. And old here would just give me game every day.
Like, how did faith, how did being a Muslim like play a part in you being in prison? Like, was it a connection you had with some of these people? Or
I wasn't a prison dude. I wasn't one of them dudes that went through the pipeline and said, I went to juvie, I went this, that, and third. So when I went to prison, that was brand new to me.
Right.
I walked in, and when them doors shut, I'm like, damn, looking around like, yo, this is doing real now. You know what I mean? So it was different too, because back when we was younger, the old hits used to throw us in the streets, and we used to slap box and fight all day. So we knew how to rumble. Yeah. And you gotta check the guns at the door. So it's like, all right, now you gotta stand on principle and stuff like that. So you stand on honor and integrity, and you see what's going on. So the Muslims was doing their thing, the blacks was doing their thing, the whites was doing their thing. Like, everybody doing their own thing.
There was a difference between the Muslims and the blacks.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You know what I mean? It's a lot of Muslims there's a lot of blacks who ain't Muslim in prison.
No, I mean, I'm saying it wasn't like
everybody.
No, I'm just saying,
come
like,
on, bro.
especially in Philadelphia, I'm stereotyping.
We've been doing this.
I'm stereotyping.
You done been on the show. We done had all kind of.
I'm stereotyping. I'm at that point. Because you'll usually see, like, I don't know. I know for Baltimore, it wasn't really a lot of Latino or white Muslims around. Like, it was very rare. Even especially in inner cities, I don't think it's hard. It's different when you see like a white convert or white Muslim or Latino Muslim.
Well, I think, man, your religion is your personal relationship with God. Whether you're Muslim, Christian, or whatever makes you a better person, you do it. But when you start talking about the community and all that kind of stuff, you need more men out here to be men. You know what I mean? And that means honor, integrity, and all that. So like the old head was in there, like on top of me getting up every day and praying and all that kind of. I had no choice but to pray 5 times a day. I had nothing but time on my hands. I had no choice but to learn surahs and hadiths and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But for him to teach me how to be a man, you know what I mean, and be like, no, this is what you got to do as a man. And that's why when we was talking about getting up early, like he would get me up early.
So let me ask you this: did you grow up with your father at home?
My father died when I was 6 months. So I didn't have a father figure in my life. Right. You know what I mean? Probably what we seen on the street corners. My best friend, his dad was like more of a father figure to me than, you know what I mean, what I probably really had. You know what I mean? So
what about uncles?
I had an uncle. Brothers. Yeah, I had uncles. But everybody's pretty much doing their own thing.
So it sounds like the interest that this guy took into you was like very impactful.
Yeah.
And that because you was in that kind of proximity, it was like, because sometimes like you'll have a friend and his dad will help you out, but they don't want to overstep. They don't, you know what I mean? They can't make you, but it sounds like because you was in this kind of proximity, like you ain't had nowhere to go,
Right.
and you in a state where you reflecting, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you in jail. It sounds like this had a great impact on you.
Yeah, it had a huge impact on me because, like I said, like old head was you talking about you making fun of something. I'm smooth. Old head was real smooth. He's one of them old heads that used to brush his hair to the side, so his waves went to the slide. He never yelled. Talked real mild mannered, and everything was yes sir, yes ma'am. And he was an older person. You know what I mean? He always just led with dignity and respect, and he moved around. Nobody rushed him. He moved around at his own pace.
Right.
But just the kind of conversations that he had was different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't no ignorant kind of conversation. Sometimes we get intrigued by ignorant conversations. Old head wasn't having them joints. You know what I mean? So I learned a lot from him, even how to eat. Just eating different.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just talking different. And just handling people different. When they come around you, look them in their eyes. You know what I mean? Never let a man walk past without shaking their hand. You know what I mean? Even if they got their head down, you make your presence known and say, yo, hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? Just doing certain things like that, which is not being done. My wife told me the other day, she's like, man, my worst class, my wife is a principal.
Mm-hmm.
She said, my worst class is, guess what? Take a guess. Kindergarten in first grade.
What?
She said her worst grade in school is kindergarten and first
I was
grade.
about to say 8th.
And I said the same thing you said. I don't believe that. She called one of her teachers up. What's our worst grade? And they both said it. Kindergarten and first grade. The kindergarten and the first grade is combined so they can jump a teacher. And when I would never think about jumping on a teacher.
What?
Jumped
They
on a teacher.
combined to jump a teacher. They 5-6 years old,
Exactly.
thinking they about to jump.
But where do you think they learned that from?
So I think we got to take some accountability for it too, because the culture is shifting and we have to shift with it.
Right.
To be able to reach youth, to be able to kind of connect. Like, we got to be different, right? I think, we all got kids, and like, that's the challenge, right? Like, all right, how do you connect in ways that, when we was growing up, if adults was talking, you want nowhere near, like, you better beat it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or it's words about feelings and stuff that I didn't even know. I didn't know what anxiety was. I didn't know what any, like, you know what I mean? I didn't know what any of that was.
And that's why I get in trouble at the Masjid a lot, because I meet the community where they at. Because
You have to.
exactly. So I don't try to religify them to death. I don't try to hit them with the Quran and the Hadiths and all that kind of stuff right now. What I try to do is I try to bring them in and so they can trust me first. Then once they trust me, then we hit with a little bit of religion.
Isn't that doing exactly what the Sahabas and the Prophet did? They didn't meet them with, yo, you know what? We just gonna bring the whole Quran down right now. It took 13 years for them to understand it, and they still was.
See, you just said something. A lot of people in Philly, we know we so Muslim in Philly, but we don't know Islam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we I'm saying, like,
Let's go.
we so Philly, we so Muslim, but we don't know Islam. You just said something exactly right. We don't do that. We try to.
That's gonna be a quote. We so
No, but it's the
So
truth,
Philly.
because everybody is trying to religify you to death. No, if you wasn't doing this, you need like, no, like you trying to religify somebody who can barely read or write,
Right.
who can barely comprehend what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
don't trust you for one. But you talking about, oh yeah, if your pants leg ain't rolled up, if your beard ain't long enough,
going to hell.
yeah. It was like, hold up, bro.
So it's a saying, and it's that a person does not care what you have to say if they don't think you care about them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say whatever, but if you don't,
Right.
so that trust, that building relationship, I think that's a huge part that's missing. I remember I was talking to somebody, and kids was playing Fortnite. Oh man, that joint is trashing. It's dumb. It's da da da. And I'm like what benefit you gonna get out of trashing a game that kids playing?
Right.
All you doing is create more distance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
you taught me something about for my daughter as well.
yeah, like,
Meet her where
You gotta
she
meet 'em where.
is.
and because all you're gonna do is create distance, being that way. And you know, so
No,
and
listen,
you
bro.
do yourself in for real.
Bro, listen, I had a community movie night at the masjid. It wasn't inside of the masjid. We got a huge parking lot in the masjid. So we had like this huge, gigantic TV screen. We put it out there. We got free Chick-fil-A for the community. We had free crab legs, all that stuff. You know what I mean? And
Nothing like crab legs.
listen, we had about
That was money, right?
we had about 400 families out there,
Wow.
right?
I don't know.
So in the comments on Instagram, I get like, oh, you know it's haram to watch TV and these they're like all this stuff these people is quoting me. You know what I mean? But what about the little kid that's right here that probably never been to the movie theater, and we bring them outside and just showing them a good time, just showing the community
Never
a good
probably
time.
interacted with totally
Exactly.
different people.
So it's good because all right, this is coming from the Muslims,
Right.
because it has to. We're going to take the community back. It has to come from the Muslims because we the ones that's out there doing all the killing. So we have to. It has to. All these community activities that has to come from the Muslims. But
Wait. I don't believe we doing all the killing, but go ahead.
Well, when the last time you been to the youth study center?
I don't believe we doing all the killing, but
Let me ask you that. When the last time you been to the youth study
I
center?
ain't been down there, not as much as you.
Okay, so 90% of that building is Muslim.
So I think that goes back to something that I said earlier, with people really understanding the culture of Philly and being Muslim and what that means. It's very unique. I'm telling you, like, you probably been all over. I've been all over.
Very.
It's really, you know, on the show we say all the time, Philly like Little Mecca, because
For sure.
What do they call it? Phil Islam?
Yeah.
and part of it is like a lot of people are proximity Muslims, and I'm not saying that to negate anybody's faith or commitment, but we Muslim and you our cousin and you love hanging out with us and we going somewhere, we gonna go do this thing, and we got our izars on, right?
Right.
You gonna put an izar on, somebody might ask you, no, I'm Muslim. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of proximity, or a group of sisters and somebody want to hang out with them and they going somewhere. Well, we gotta go do this first. I mean, I've literally seen this. Like, okay, I'm gonna put a kimar on and I'm gonna be. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's
But
a
why
lot
is
of
that checked?
a lot of it is because people are young,
Right.
and people want other people to be Muslims. Like if we Muslim and you not, we really want you to be Muslim, and we want it because I'm gonna speak for me. I would want that because I want the people that close to me. I want to, like, it's a different kind of connection when I'm gonna pray with you,
Right.
than I'm just hanging out with you. You see what I'm saying? So I think that you really gotta, you know, and I could be biased, right? Because I love my city, right?
Right.
I could be biased, but I really think that the proximity thing with Muslims in Philly is so different because, I mean, like, we got big families where it's cousins and you know, the majority of people's family is Muslim.
Right.
So you almost an outsider if you're not, and if you know what I mean, like, and I also think that it's a misconception that people are taking shahada in these traditional places. Like, yeah, I get it. People posting these shahadas at this place and this place, but that's not where the majority of shahadas is happening.
Right.
The majority is, all right, no, you can be Muslim. All right, cool. So I think that because the volume of Muslims in Philly is so high, I think that's why the overarching thing is that Philly is one of the biggest, poorest big cities per capita. And I think that that's the real problem. And I think that we just, because the number of Muslims is so high per capita, it just spills over into that. So that's my take.
Here's what I see as far as the, like, Philadelphia and the Muslim community. It's like when you have a kid, right? You say you want to have a kid, and the work starts before the kid comes. What happens? You want to be a good parent. What happens? You start to eat a certain way. You start to read on books on how to treat a kid, how to nurture the child, so for it to become a great child or a great man. And I believe that a disconnect comes, especially with Islam, with Philly, is everybody saying, "Oh, you can just, here's a child, but you never taught them like what a child is, what it's actually for, what he's supposed to do with it, how you're supposed to take care of it. And this goes with Islam. What is Islam? How are you supposed to take care of it? Where does it come from? What is the history of it? And why are you becoming a Muslim? And it's easier, and these days, you said it, these days everybody look Muslim, so you want to look Muslim. But being Muslim and looking Muslim are two different things.
That analogy is perfect, right?
That's perfect.
You know why? Because you don't have to do any of that to be a parent. All you got to do is have a baby. You don't have to. You saying, oh, you don't have to prepare. You don't have to be ready. You don't have to have no money.
Right.
You don't have to have anything.
Right.
The only thing you got to do is be of age, right? To be able to have a kid.
Right.
Is
But what happens when they have the child?
yeah, but it's not up to you.
I agree.
We have no say so in who can have kids and who can't.
I agree.
We have no say so in who. You see what I'm saying?
But I'm saying, what happens when you become the child?
Some people learn. Some people, you got bad parents.
Right.
You got good parents. Some people learn. Some people don't.
Right.
You know what I mean? So all right. I want to get into why you qualified to talk about some of this, because we into this, right? So a lot of the things that you do are community based, right? From going to the youth study center to the community food banks to the anti-violence gun programs that you initiate. I think the day of sovereignty is one of them. To having a position with Philadelphia Mass, which you are the community outreach coordinator,
community liaison director.
Right. So my bad.
Put some respect.
Put some respect on his name. So I just want to just put that out there because, we kind of drag and get into it, and this is good stuff. Yeah. But you directly dealing with youth. You directly dealing with families. You feeding people. Right. Like, bro, like, alhamdulillah, yo, like you feeding people, man. That's major. Right. So, and I wanted to talk about your background because the contrast, right? That's what makes it so dope, is that you've been on that side and you made a choice to change, and now you in this space, man. So I applaud you for that, man. Every time I see one of your posts, you know what I mean? I'm excited, like I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Because I know you, and I'm proud of the work that you do with the community. So what is your role right now with like being a community liaison? What exactly are you doing? Do you do?
So my job at the masjid, I'm the community liaison director. So my job is to bridge the gap between the community and the masjid. So my job is to do things in the community and get them there at the community. Right. You know what I mean? Represent the brand of the masjid. So I do all this outreach. I started a free community supermarket because I knew my peoples in my community ain't have no money for food. So then on top of the free community supermarket, I said, you know what, let's do something different. On top of giving them out free groceries every week, let's give them a hot meal now. So we turned the kitchen into a little dining area. So it was like, all right, well, even if you in the neighborhood and this is not for people who poor, stop by and get a grub. From 10 o'clock to 2 p.m., we give you platters, fish platters or whatever else. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
What's the days again? Run that again.
What time is it?
I'm in West Philly, yo.
So, and then on top of that, I say, you know what? On top of giving them free groceries, on top of the feeding them with a hot meal, let's do something else. I started a free work release program where not a job fair or a job hub where you can come there from 10 o'clock to 2 and get hired from 10 different employers, and you get hired on the spot. And it's for people who come home from prison, right? For the kids who come home from their placements, for high school kids. We hired 40 kids from Belmont Charter High School last week on the spot.
Amazing.
On the spot.
That's amazing.
So like I said, my job is to bridge the gap between the community and the masjid, because like I said, this problem that we have is not an Islamic thing, it's not a Christianity thing, it's a humanitarian type thing.
Community thing.
Right.
That's it.
But I feel as though the Muslims should stand in front of it. It need to come from the house of Allah.
Have to.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
what do you think makes you so passionate about this kind of work though?
I mean, I was poor, so I seen firsthand. You know what I mean? Like I seen what we missing, what we lacking. So I'm what you call a credible source. You know what I mean? Like you can't complain about
exactly where it comes from.
Exactly. You can't complain about the stuff if you never was in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, well, I know what everybody want. You know what I mean? We was poor, we ain't have nothing. So let's provide what the wants and the need is. Like the free community supermarket came from. I went to the market to go buy me some milk. I know how much milk and eggs was. I'm like, hold up.
Eggs was up there for a minute,
Yeah.
yo.
I'm like, what? So I reached out to my man who got access to food. I said, yo, let's put this together. So then we went from serving 50 families to 200 families. Now we serve 500 families every Thursday.
Wow.
Every Thursday we serve we serve 500
That's
families.
dope, man.
You know what I mean?
Dope.
And then from there, like I said, all right, let's step it up a notch. When they come here, let's give them hot food too. And we ain't talking about no soup kitchen, like no soups and crackers. We give them platters, crabs, fish, chicken. You know what I mean? All that good stuff.
Eat how you eat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then on social media, everybody, oh man, they start talking trash. Like, well, why y'all feeding them this? Because we want to. You know what I mean? Like what's
Bro,
the problem?
listen,
When I tell
social
you
media
is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and there's so many people complain about the stuff that we doing, and then I hate to say this, but the likes don't even be adding up. Like I get,
Right.
Listen, bro, I get 10,000 views on posts and probably like 100 likes. So I'm like, y'all coming on my page, y'all seen
Just
this
looking.
just to be nosy.
Just looking.
And I don't even feel like I got a bull crap page. I feel like my page is all right. So if anything I'm putting on my page, it's respectable enough. If you gonna come on it, just how hard is it to hit the like button?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's crazy, bro. Just like you gotta have thick
People
skin
gonna
dealing
see,
with the
but they're
public.
not gonna support.
Right.
And man, I think all of us can speak about that. Is you can't worry about anybody's opinion.
No,
You gotta
honestly,
just-
bro. Listen,
You gotta just do you.
You gotta
Because
have thick
everybody's
skin.
gonna have an opinion about what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, and they can never do it. They'll never come out there and help you. They'll never
no.
come out there and
No.
say something.
Oh, no.
But the great thing, this is a lot of great things about Philly, but the great thing about Philly is there are so many people who are doing putting in their work,
There's a lot
putting
of
in the
people
work
doing
for the
bro.
youth,
Mhm.
putting in the work for to make like Philadelphia great again.
And and that's one of the things like we like to highlight on the podcast, third party podcast, culture,
sir.
faith, excellence.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? We try to highlight those stories. You know,
have
it's
to.
like we talk, you know, like we kind of spoke earlier, and just, you know, like the platform need to be uplifted and the voices need to be heard. You know, because everybody, you know, like typically the people that got the platform, and I'm not saying anything against these folks, but it's like if you're not a imam or you're not a sheikh, like nobody's really listening to what other Muslims have to say
Right.
in Philly.
Right.
And it's too many. I feel like there's too many people doing amazing things like yourself that like just don't get to speak, don't get to say things.
No,
man.
like folks, I can name a few. Tashid,
Yeah,
him and his crew.
Shout out to Taj.
Yeah,
Tashid,
yeah.
what's that with Kojak?
yeah, Jack. Yeah.
They do a lot of good work. I don't never, but you see, Philly, man, there's a lot of gatekeepers. It's a lot of get along gang people in Philly that, you know what I mean, that take all the credit for a lot of other people work, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got a lot of people around the city that's doing a lot of good work. Big Duke out in Southwest.
Yeah,
He doing a lot of work.
whole bunch of guys.
Yeah, Manny 215.
Manny 215. You know what I mean? Shout out to Manny. He was on season 1. You know what I
And
mean?
shout out to Mashidullah as well on the other side. They, trying to get small little programs, help the kids.
My mentor
making
come from
sure-
Masjid Allah.
Idris, man. Shout out to Imam
Imam
Idris
Idris.
for doing that.
Yeah,
So all right. So wait, E was last week.
right.
I gotta. E was last week.
Oh man, what happened?
So it was a incident of violence
Mm-hmm.
happened at the Eid that Philadelphia Masjid hosted. It made national headlines.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel about that?
I feel horrible about it, bro.
Right.
I ain't even gonna hold you because I put so much planning into the Eid.
Right.
Me and my old head, Saifullah Muhammad, we put so much planning into the Eid, and we was having such a beautiful day up until 2:30. Like literally, it had to be, man, no lie, it had to be like 4,000 or 5,000 people there. But the mercy of Allah is that when that shooting happened, not one person got killed. Now I say, all right, I'll take somebody getting shot over somebody getting killed.
Absolutely, 1000%.
When you got 30 gunshots and not one person is killed, that's the mercy of Allah.
So I was there until I left at 2.
So you just missed it.
I got a text and a call. So I was there, and my daughter, my 16-year-old daughter, wanted to go. And she's driving now. I said, well, look, let me go and see what's going on. They were saying it was like 1,000. It was definitely over 1,000 people
Probably
there.
more over 1,000.
It definitely was over 1,000 people. I do remember saying to myself, I mean, at one point, right? So I didn't take Shahada when you did, but I've been Muslim in Philly for over 20 years, right? It was so many people I didn't know.
Right.
It was so many, and I would see other people that I know, and they would say, "Yo, it's so many."
Well, you know
people I don't know.
You know the beauty of Philadelphia masjid? Like, you go to any of them, you go to all the masjids around the city for the Eid, right? But all stopping grounds and back.
No.
Everybody
listen,
go back to Philadelphia.
If I was,
masjid.
it's funny because I only stopped and got in my car because I saw Ali Davis, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna come talk to you.
Right.
I was just riding by, but if I was a young person,
I'm going
unmarried. If I was a young person, that's where why wouldn't I want to be there?
Right. So, like I said, it don't matter what masjid you go through in the city. All stops come back to that you're going to end up back at Philadelphia Masjid. You know what I mean? And, you know, once again, I'm going to go back to social media. So people got on social media after the shooting and was like, see, that's why I'm go there, this, that, and the third. And my thing is, all right, we don't even want you there. If you want to talk trash, about the masjid, don't even come because you want to jump on the bandwagon and say that you're not coming to a masjid because a random act of violence happened. Then, really, what have you really done for the masjid?
If you not supporting, and if you haven't even gone to any event at any of these masjid, you don't have the audacity to talk about what a masjid needs to do.
Right.
You can't. Nobody has seen you at prayer. Nobody knows you, and I'm not talking about from social media.
That's facts.
Nobody knows you from Fajr. Nobody knows you from Jumu'ah. Nobody knows you from Tarawih. Nobody, even if you only go to one prayer, or come on a Saturday or something. If nobody know you from there, I always say you don't have the. I'm not even from Philly.
Let me interject.
I don't think we could downplay. Like, it was traumatic.
No,
it was traumatic for a lot of people.
Let me interject real quick. It was very traumatic, right? Very traumatic. So you want to talk about the traumatic incident that happened, but first, before you talk about that, let's talk about the 500 families that we feed every Thursday. Let's talk about the sheikhs that came through there, Dr. Sheikh Tahir Wyatt. Let's talk about Hanif Faust that came through there. Let's talk about the history of the Philadelphia Masjid and all the things and the serious men that came through that masjid before you start talking about the traumatic stuff that happened.
So I don't. So from what I saw, I didn't see people trashing the masjid.
Oh, I have.
All right. Because I'm like, wait. People was traumatized about. I mean, I know people. I've heard them trying to get to their kids.
But Kurt,
trying to get to their kids, trying to like separate it from family members.
But Kurt, let me go back to my problem with Philadelphia Islam. Now, like I said, all stops go back to Philadelphia Masjid on the Eid, right? So we have a shooting at the Masjid. Germantown Masjid should have been there. Masjid Allah should have been there, which they did come. All the masjids in the city of Philadelphia should have been down there and said, you know what? We're not going for this crap. We're not going for this crap.
So y'all had a press conference the next day, right?
A press conference is a press conference, but that's the politicians on. I'm talking about the Muslims should have been there and said, you know what? We standing in front of gun violence together because this happened at the house of Allah. Like, so
I was under the impression that did happen.
Yeah, me too.
No, so it was a press conference that the politicians were there. We called the press conference because we wanted to tell our story, what happened. We didn't want the
media to get
to tell our story. We wanted to tell our own story. But my thing is, this was a time for all Muslims to come together because the shooting happened at the Eid. So it was a time for everybody, all the Muslims in the city to come together. You know how powerful the city we would be if we stuck together, bro?
Absolutely. I do.
So this was any time like no other for the Muslims to come together. But instead, what we do, do
you feel like it was a call made to like, yo, listen, let's come together?
Even if it wasn't. It should have been done.
You think it should have been done?
It should have been done because, you know what, this when I said, you know what, the men need to be the men. The Muslim men who call themselves Muslims should have said, you know what, I don't care if I go to Germantown Masjid. I'm coming down here. I don't care if I go to Ben Bass and South Philly. I'm here because these are my Muslim brothers.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a problem that you got young kids, 14, 15, shooting at a masjid.
But didn't the fight start at Germantown?
I'm not
know.
sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I'm
I think
not
they
sure.
did have a fight at Chalmers. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But it's a problem when you got 14-year-old girls with guns at the Eid.
That is nuts.
That's what I'm trying to say. Forget all the political crap.
Yeah.
We need to come together Islamically
Right.
together.
And talk.
You know what I mean? Like, why we don't have one big unified Eid in the city? Why can't we shut down the Lincoln Financial Center and have one big Eid there?
What
I mean,
happened to the
listen, I've
conference that
been
y'all
hearing
used
the
to
same
do?
stuff for forever. I've been hearing, and I've just been hearing the same stuff forever. I think that if collectively that's not what we decide to do, then that's not.
Yeah.
But I do think that when we should all come together to support each other when we have things that
Absolutely.
happen. And just because I don't, come to your party don't mean that I shouldn't support you. That don't mean that I shouldn't be behind you. That don't mean that we not brothers.
We all get put under the same
And I-
umbrella
and I-
when the bad stuff happens.
And right. Because the
Right,
country,
well.
they don't when,
No
when that
one-
joint, when I'm getting calls from LA, from other places,
Y'all all right? Y'all
all right. What's going on with y'all Philly
What's going on
Muslims?
with y'all? Even
So-
me, I'm not even from Philly, but I live here, and they like, yo, what's up? You all right? You
Right.
know what's up with Philly?
So I do agree. I mean, I think honestly though, I think it just go back to like poor people problems, man. Like
But-
even being unified,
How many
Kurt,
times we going
Kurt,
to
let me
keep
ask
that
you this.
excuse though?
it's not
Poor-
an excuse. It's the
Kurt,
condition.
Poor is a mentality, bro. It's a mentality, bro. We got to get over that. If I say you my brother, right? I say you my brother. If something happen, I'm right there, boots on the ground with you. Especially if I say you my Muslim brother, that means more. That means more. If your masjid gets shot and I'm the representative of my masjid, I should be right there with you.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like,
No, I don't disagree with you saying. I just think sometimes you got to understand people, not you.
Right.
I think that's a life lesson I had to learn.
right.
Because I move in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't be upset when people not me, when they
Right.
don't move like me, when they
Right.
don't care like me. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, when if you my folks, you my folks.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's it's unfortunate that that's what it be, but you're right though. You're right. I like it should be a level of support.
Right.
It should be. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm not gonna lie. I was down there. I was pleasantly surprised, but at the same time, like, man, there's a lot of young boys down there.
But you know what? I wasn't surprised that the shooting happened, to be quite honest.
No, I'm talking about. I was pleasantly surprised about the amount of people and how nice it was. I was there for like an hour.
Bro, listen, like I said, up until then, we was having a beautiful time.
It was.
I got
It
there
was.
at 6 o'clock in the morning. I started setting things up. You looked in one corner, you got the kids over here in the moon bounce. You look right in front of the doors, you got the elders. You look over there, you see all the young boys. So it was a beautiful day and everything was going. But then when you start seeing more and more young boys, then you start seeing the different kind of young boys
Yeah.
coming up. When they got their face covered up and all that kind of stuff, then you like, all right, well, it's a different kind of crowd coming up here. You know what I mean? So then it's I hate to say it, but you expect certain things because it's like these kids, they just don't care.
Well,
bro.
you think about it. What event happens in Philly, Muslim or not, and something don't pop off? Like, what event? What large scale event that's catered towards our youth when something really don't pop off like that? You know what I mean?
The
Like,
crazy thing about it, bro, we had armed security there, and we had the police there.
Yeah.
And the kids, they still shot. So they just go to show you the mentality of the kids to do that.
How do we get back?
Well, this is what I'm doing.
You doing everything you possibly can. You're doing everything you possibly can. I need to even do more, but how can we get back? Like, do we need to promote more? Go back to that, shooting gun and no gun violence and everything. Like, what do we need to go back to?
I mean, like I said, I just think it's really poverty problems, and I'm not saying it. I'm not using that as an excuse, but when you got people that's desperate in survival mode, it's hard to get them to think or get them to act. And then you got behavior that's passed on, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I gotta be like, man, like, I've been told, like, man, like, you still think like you see what I'm saying? Like, you ain't. like that was a long time ago. You far, you a little bit, you kind of far away from when you used to be in that area.
I've told him that.
So I think that, I think that, like you said, like I look at my kids and it's like, it's.
So let me ask you this: do y'all think it's gonna get better or worse?
Personally, not to be a pessimist, but if a lot of these things don't get addressed by the people now to address some of the kids, then it's going to get way worse.
And I feel the same way.
Okay, you got 40-year-old grandmas,
Mm-hmm.
and they still partying with their grandchildren. Like they partying with their children.
Well,
it is
when you in the youth study center, bro, and you see these kids in there, and you just listen to their mentality and the things that they're willing to do for a reputation. And then on the visit day, when you see their parents, and you be like, well, damn, now I see exactly why.
now I know why
I know exactly.
Hassan act like that.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's
like
like,
this 5-year-old cousin said, he was like, next time he says something, I'm going to blow his middle. I say, I looked and I was like, yo, I said, you don't even know how to shoot it. You can't even hold a gun. How you doing that? Like, it's here's the thing though. It's like scary, but it's also, it's like there is a chance. There's always a chance.
So my thing, man, is, and this is something that I try to do, man. I try to live by, and it's just be committed to improving the quality of life of the people around you, and to the best of your ability. You start with your family, and if it's people that you can pull in that's close to your family, then if you can pull that together and impact your community. And I think if everybody take that kind of responsibility to a certain level, things could get better.
Let me ask y'all too this question and be completely honest. Do you think that you can raise a family in Philadelphia?
I mean, yeah, I do. I mean, it's expensive. I mean, they say so. This is a statistic. They say that middle class Black people pay more for their existence than anybody else, because in order to keep your kids out of the regular schools, in order to keep them safe, keep them out of the neighborhoods, keep them going in a particular direction, keep them in activities, you got to pay so much more. So can you raise a family safely in Philly? You can, if you can afford to.
There you go. What about you?
No. My daughter doesn't even live here.
So I mean, I get it, right? I understand why people pack up and go. It's a joke that everybody from Philly make hijra to Atlanta. You know what I mean? But I get it though. They looking for a better life. They looking for better resources. They looking for better schools. They looking for better. They say that in Philadelphia, per person, it's the least, like for residential areas, we have the least amount of space per person. So
you stacked on top of
we stacked on, like, so it's a lot of, I mean, it's a lot of, I mean, I'm just trying, but it's a lot of stuff that makes it challenging and makes it difficult, but you gotta have a certain level of resources to be able to do that. And if you don't, then you at the mercy, it's hope, right? You hope your kid don't turn out like this.
But you just think where the gun violence is happening at now, right now. SEPTA, right? Schools, right? South Street. The churches. Now they happen in the masjid.
Northeast. Over by Boulevard.
Right.
Yeah,
So all these 5 places that back when we was coming up, they would never have happened at, right? So now if nobody is and nowhere is safe, and you got these shooters getting younger and younger, it's like, what's the outlet going to be? What's the outlook going to be?
I mean, so I mean, it is. I think it has to get better. I don't think there's no choice for it to get better. Now, I don't know what that looks like, but
I got one solution.
But how worse does it have to get for?
There you go.
In order to get.
But I got one solution, big bro. Once you start locking up some of these parents, like real rap, like
it's gonna be a lot of locked up parents.
Like real rap, like you don't know what your little 12-year-old is doing. Why did your 12-year-old have a gun? Why is he bringing a gun to school?
It's so much generational trauma.
There you go. Talk about it.
Well.
Talk about it.
So look. This is what I think though. I think that we underestimate the crack epidemic and what it did to our community.
Generational trauma.
because like I remember it. I remember growing up. I remember seeing men in my neighborhood go from being men to being fiends, to being locked up, to being like just depleted, just destroyed. Like I specifically remember that.
All right, let me ask y'all two a question. How do you destroy the black man?
Take his family away.
Somewhat.
I think
One word. How do you think?
if he can't provide, then that,
I would say education as well.
You destroy the black man by destroying the black boy. You don't even give him a chance to be the black man. How you do that? You break up the households. You give them a poor education.
that's the other thing. I don't think most like black people recognize their position. Like we don't understand what it means to be the type of minority amongst the dominant culture. So I think that skews our expectations. They talk about voting like we don't. So this is the thing. Black people are the most unique. Black Americans are one of the most unique groups in the world because we're not immigrants and we're not indigenous. So we don't really know how to act because immigrants act a certain way and indigenous people act a certain way.
They still know their culture.
So we see ourselves, sometimes we see ourselves as indigenous, sometimes we see ourselves as immigrants, but immigrants came here for a particular purpose, right? That's not like we don't have that purpose, and we don't move like that.
But what is the black person's culture? Really, what is it?
Well, right now it's
Trauma.
Is African American is this. I mean, we have developed a culture, but we don't. The thing is, like, we don't have. You know how they say the deeper the roots, the stronger the tree. We still got compared to everybody else, our roots are still short.
There you go.
This might sound crazy, but I think the fight is here so strong because Philly is so special.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I think it's I'm a Philly boy. I love Philly, bro. Like I go hard for Philly.
You always gonna rep Philly. You know what I mean? Because like we a tough town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We gritty, we resilient. You know what I mean? And it is a place to be proud about because like the more problems that you go through, it make you stronger, bro. And like Philly is problematic. Like seriously, bro. Like Philly is problematic.
His page is dedicated to Philly, like Philly Muslims. Pages.
Oh.
His page is dedicated to Philly Muslim brothers. It's wild, bro.
The pages.
It's wild.
On IG?
Facebook, all that, bro.
I've seen women's Instagram, women's Facebook. I got sisters. I got 7 sisters. Man, they on some group chat. They on like group pages. Only women. You can only be invited.
Yo, they go hard.
Go hard on the Philly.
They go hard on Philly.
I'm telling you.
No,
all right, look, man. We got this little at the end, man. We try to lighten it up, man. We do these questions, so
yeah, lighten it
up. All right. So we start off just like some Philly-based questions. All right. So cheesesteak or pizza?
Cheesesteak.
Chicken or beef or like beef cheesesteak.
Chicken cheesesteak.
Where you getting it from?
Gems.
Chicken cheesesteak from Gems.
Why have you never told me about Gems?
Because don't cut it out, man. You already know why. Listen, we know these questions. We know our answers.
Right.
All right. Oh, man. What you got for him?
Water ice or Mr. Softies?
Water ice. All day.
What is it?
Water ice.
Water ice.
What is water ice?
Yeah.
Cut it out, man. Where you going?
Yeah, where you going?
I'm gonna go to King's right on 59th and right across the street from Overbrook.
They changed that to King's?
Yeah.
I thought that used to be like Maroney's or something.
No, Maroney's on 63rd and 63rd.
But the joint from Overbrook wasn't King's all the time.
It was always King's.
It was always King's?
Yeah.
You sure you from Philly?
Cut it out, man. All right, what's your favorite Philly slang word?
Ball.
Ball? Yeah.
Ball.
Yo, I got caught. I'm not gonna lie. I got caught saying it one day.
Oh, it did.
I said, "Bull was doing."
Oh my god! Did they call you out on it?
Yo, my coach was like, "What did you just say?" I was like, "You're right. I ain't say that. I ain't say that. My bad." I said I would never say. Y'all not gonna get me to say that.
Yo, listen, we got into so much stuff. We couldn't even get into him being a funeral director. That's so crazy.
You really gonna be the
We can go around 2 one day.
Yeah. We gotta get him back. Because we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we need to talk about the Day of Serenity. We need to talk about a lot of stuff.
I know.
We gotta spin that
All right.
block for real.
All
What's
right.
the worst job you ever had?
I had to unload these trucks full of maternity clothes.
Wait, like new stuff or?
Yeah, it was called Mother's Works or something like that. It was like tractor trailers full of like clothes. I had to unload. Like I'm talking about, it was like you'd be there 8 hours unloading trucks. Like, one truck.
One truck?
Yeah.
It was just you or something?
Yes, bro. It was a temp job.
Yeah,
too.
I left.
You
get halfway through, like, you know what?
I love that.
You had to finish the whole joint.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was a temp job
man.
too, bro.
I had a FedEx job for 2 days. The minute they gave me that truck, I said, "Oh no, this ain't it."
This joint was horrible, bro.
I delivered papers
18-wheeler?
before.
18-wheeler full of nothing but maternity clothes, and like you'd be like you had to unload the joint by yourself. So you get there 8 o'clock in the morning, you probably won't get done to the next day. Like that was a horrible.
How much that joint paid?
Man, I probably was making like $10 an hour, bro.
Oh, nah.
This was back in the day.
Oh nah,
Yeah.
that was a lot of money back in the day though.
Yeah, I mean, once they hit taxes, it probably turned to like $7
Right,
an hour.
right.
That's a lot.
Hey, that's a grown man answer. Yeah, once those taxes hit.
No,
You know what I mean? Like when you young, you ain't think about those taxes.
right.
Now you count your taxes like, okay, I get
Yeah.
this. Okay.
All right. What do you want to be when you were a kid?
I wanted to be an architect when I was a kid.
Me too.
Yeah, I had dreams of being an architect.
I wanted to be an archaeologist.
Of course.
I want to be like Indiana Jones.
Of course.
Yeah.
You one of them dudes that he just like reading.
No,
like,
Kurt
learning
was
about
a mega.
stuff.
Kurt was a mega nerd, if I remember.
That was.
Yeah,
He
like, he was
still is.
No.
You gotta hear him talk about coffee.
Oh,
cut it
yeah?
out, man.
You gotta hear him talk about. He be like, yeah, the root of the coffee. I don't like
No, Kurt.
just the coffee bean. But yeah, all right. And I guess for the last question, what do you want to be known for?
I want to be known as a game changer. Came in and just gave it a different kind of a flavor in the community. You know what I mean? Like normally when you see like people doing stuff, they don't look like us, they don't talk like us. So I want to be that person that they like, damn, like he's relatable.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he looked like us, he talked like us, he can relate to us. You know, he one of us. So I want to be a game changer with that. I love Philadelphia so much, bro. Like I'm just ready to put it on the line and say, you know what, man, it's time for a change. You know what I mean? Like, and we gotta do it together. Like whether we working the Muslims, the Christians, everybody, because the same problems that when I come out of 4700 Walusin Avenue at the masjid, the pastor's facing them joints right across the street. So like we can talk about religion all day. We're going to differ about that joint. But when we talking about problems, changes, solutions, then that's what we need to talk about. Then we can get to the religion. You know, but we need to put the religion to the side because nobody's safe. Like you got a 16-year-old daughter, right? They ain't stopping saying, you know what, man, she Muslim and that's Kurt's daughter. You know what I mean? They ain't giving no pass.
Care.
Yeah.
Even my 3-year-old daughter.
Listen, just saying that they don't care. Like it's like it make you feel
triggering.
away. You know what I
it's
mean?
triggering.
Like,
And it make you feel vulnerable because it's like, bro, like you really, anybody is subject to it.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And it's not like they pressing pause on these drills.
yeah.
I remember before, auntie or old ladies walk by, you stop what you doing.
stop
Yo,
what
chill
you
out,
doing.
chill out before let her walk by. You need some help.
Yeah.
Everybody help get her groceries out, and then you go back doing the same nonsense that you was doing, but she was in the house safe.
I do want to say something though before we click off. Like I'm very, very proud of what y'all two are doing.
Thanks, man.
Like what I really want y'all to do is keep y'all foot in the gas pedal. You know what I mean? And keep on thriving, keep on persevering, keep on being resilient. You know what I mean? And keep on bringing relevant guests on here to make the show relevant.
Yeah. So look, man. Third Party Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Episode 1, season 2. Rod DeVeaux, Muhsin Cason, I guess Tone Barr. Get at you.